I'm a relationship and personal guidance counsellor and psychotherapist with some 40,000 hours of clinical experience behind me and a further 10,000 hours spent in the training and preparation of students in counselling theory and practice. I operate under the banner of the International Living Wisdom Association of Counsellors and abide by a written code of ethics under that umbrella. Now, it is my testimony today that in over 30 years of practice, I have been asked by more than 200 people to help them consider the formative factors of their sexual and gender orientation, some experienced in childhood, some in adult life, that contributed to the formation of their childhood gender identity, including the recounting of their history of sexual awakenings, any sexual abuse incurred, parental emotional and physical abuse, orphanings, parental abandonment, role modeling, and other factors that first awoke their craving for same-sex love or their sexual habits and ensuing lifestyle. Now, in part because of my own experience of 5 years spent living in a large high school boarding hostel with many boys, all of whom were aged between 12 and 17 years, and had ample opportunity to observe several boys to have been socially and emotionally pressured, I say socially and emotionally pressured into identifying themselves as gay or transgender. I did not automatically assume that my clients were predetermined in their sexual preference or identified according to deterministic genetic/chromosome elements. My experience had already pointed me to several other factors that could quite easily shipwreck a fragile developing gender identity and/or heterosexuality. Now, today I can look back on scores of my clients and students, men and women, who have been enabled to awaken or reawaken their heterosexuality due to the rare opportunity they got to sit with and be deeply heard by a non-coercive, respectful and thoughtful counsellor.
David, can I just interrupt you for a minute? Is it your position that homosexuality is the result of trauma?
All will be revealed. To be asked the questions that could empower them to grasp the true nature of their deep ambivalence and point the way forward to free themselves of the destructive childhood conclusions that were now so desperately out of date. And I should add my observation that no two clients ever trod the same path out of their emotional addiction and relational codependency. There is no formula for this process. This ambivalence I speak of, often subconscious to begin with, about themselves and about the uninvited presence of same-sex attraction within them, and about the true nature of their longing for same-sex nurture or validation, often in the wake of parental bereavement or abandonment, or even an opposite-sex trauma that would have scarred them for life, desperately needed surfacing, facing, and resolving to bring peace of mind and return them to an agenda-free life. A life no longer spent in self-medication, survival kits, and defense mechanisms to compensate for the deprivations of their youth.
David, you're at 5 minutes. Thank you for your submission. I do just want to say to anyone who was listening there that may have been triggering the association between childhood trauma and other deprivation and feeling that you are part of the LGBTQ community. Please don't be distressed by that. And if you are and would like to reach out, the Clarks are available to recommend some support for you. But thank you for your submission, David. Your perspective's been heard, and I'm afraid we're going to have to move on now.
Please reject this bill in full. I do not want to end up in prison for being a humanitarian my whole life.
Thank you very much, David.